Well, hello everyone. Welcome once again to another session of the 17th annual Transforming the Teaching and Learning Environment virtual conference. As always, I'm Bob Ailes, and nobody ever wants to be me anyway, and I'm your moderator. Uh, Keep in mind, we have a sponsor this year, the Journal of Online Educators. No, Educators Online. And they have a session tomorrow at noon Central Time, about 20 minutes, talk about the journal, how you might participate in it, that kind of thing. So I would appreciate if you just drop in for a few minutes and listen to them. We have with us Colleen Packer. She's a professor of communication at Weber State University. Is that Ogden?
That is Ogden, yes.
Okay. She's been teaching for 40 years. She started when she was about 5 years old and serves as the ombuds for the university. She is a former director of the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning and does research on playful pedagogy and other teaching strategies to promote student success. So, Colleen, take it away.
Thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate that. And welcome to this session. We're going to be talking about transforming learning through playful pedagogy. And as Bob stated, I'm Colleen Packer from Weber State in Ogden, Utah, home of the 2002 and 2034 Winter Olympics downhill. And get this, we also have the curling venue. Pretty impressive, huh? And I have the pleasure to be your presenter today. So let's play. We have a few outcomes to guide us today. So by the end of the session, you should be able to define playful pedagogy, identify four benefits of using playful pedagogy to foster student success, and then finally, I want you to be able to take something home with you. So I want you to be able to integrate at least one strategy into your teaching repertoire, and I'm sure that you can do it. So to get started, I want you to think about what is playful pedagogy. So take 1 minute to write down your definition of playful pedagogy in the chat. And here's the thing, I don't want you to post your definition yet, because we're going to do that in an online blast countdown. So just write it in the chat, but don't post it yet. Take 60 seconds to do that. I'll look at my trusty watch. Put on my glasses. Okay, let's see what we have come up with. When I say blast off, we'll start. And we'll have a waterfall of definitions. So ready? 3, 2, 1, blast off. Let's see what we got. Making fun on purpose. Using play and fun to teach curriculum. Nice, Kara and Christine's. Gaming Kahoot. Christine, that is one of my go-tos. Carolyn, making fun. Using technology. Brittany, that's an awesome idea. Erica says it's more than the lighthearted approach to teaching. And that's exactly what I want you to recognize, Erica. So thank you for sharing that. Kristen, trying to make everything fun and inspiring. Thank you for sharing. And Anna, yes, you're right. No right or wrong answers. So thank you so much for sharing that. You're definitely on track with those answers. And I want you to think about, well, first of all, just let me say that most of you were really on target. It looks like many of you have been at least introduced to playful pedagogy. Your thoughts are definitely Wait a minute. My slide isn't working here. Let's see what we can do to make it go. There we go. Wait. Sorry, having a technology issue. All right. So anyway, Kangas defines technology or playful pedagogy as the integration of play into the learning process. And so we're creating an engaging and enjoyable environment that facilitates creativity and meaningful learning. So basically, we're saying that play makes learning fun, but in a very meaningful way. And so I want you to think about your experience with this activity. It was pretty easy. No one was going to evaluate your comments, and you could work anonymously if you wanted to, but all of you listed your name, so that was great. Overall, I used this activity so that we could experience a safe learning environment while at the same time focusing your mind on what we're going to talk about in this session. So has a two-pronged purpose then, because playful pedagogy promotes a safe learning environment, but it can also get your students focused on the content that you'll be discussing during that lesson. So I want you to think about how you could apply the online blast, or some call it an online waterfall, a Zoom waterfall, in your own teaching. And again, I'm going to have you post your ideas in the chat. How could you use it? I'll just share one that I have used in the past when I've been teaching online. And of course, this was a hybrid course because we were meeting synchronously online. I would have my students share their favorite book or their favorite hobby or some fun fact about them so that we would get to know them better, and we would just waterfall it in the chat. And it was just a real treat to see what students came up with every time we did it. Let's see what others are doing. Put on my glasses here. Yes, Kristen has identified trying to make lecture material fun, informative, and inspiring. Um, oh, I think that was answer to the last question, but that's okay because that will work. Let me give you some other ideas then. Um, you could use it for reflection, talking about key takeaways from a presentation or from a speaker. You could use it for brainstorming, especially when you know that no ideas are going to be discussed or evaluated. It's a great way to get ideas in front of everyone. So there are a lot of ways that you could use this particular activity to help with student learning. All right, moving along. We are going to have a scavenger hunt. Now, I work at Weber State, and our colors are purple and white. Fight, fight, fight. So I am focusing this scavenger hunt on the color purple. So I want you to locate something purple in your immediate area. You can go digital if you'd like. You can create something with an AI, or you can just Google, give me something purple. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes to complete that task. So take 2 minutes and find your purple artifact. Go. Carolyn's already posted something. Jody looks like she has a mug. Carolyn, hang on to that image because we're going to do something with it in just a minute. Actually, in 40 seconds, we're going to do something with it. Oh, Brittany, hang on to those. You'll need them in a minute. Okay, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Now, some of you have posted in the chat, and that's great. Now, I want you to post your artifact on the Padlet. You can use the QR code, or I can actually, let me just copy this, maybe. Oh, shoot, let me go back. I'm having a little bit of difficulty. We're going the wrong way. Shoot. Doesn't want to play with me today. All right, just a second. Let me see if I can get that up in the chat so you don't have to get to it. Um, Okay, here it is. Sorry about that. Oh, somebody got to it. Awesome. You used your QR code. Awesome. All right, let's see what you've come up with. And now I want you to write an analogy that applies playful pedagogy to your object and how your object teaches us about playful learning. Be creative, have fun with this. All right, so we've got, it looks like some hand sanitizer. So if you can click on the purple circle with the white plus sign at the bottom, you should be able to write your analogy with your hand sanitizer. I use playful pedagogy as like a friendly purple monster. It's unexpected, engaging, and it's impossible to ignore once it pulls you in. All right, let's see what some of these others have in mind. Okay. I am. Be sure that you write the analogy at the bottom. And again, to write the analogy, you just click on you can click on the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner of your image and write in there. Okay, we have a couple, and I'm sure that your analogies are just as wonderful as your purple pot and your purple hand sanitizer. And so someone else has put in a race car, and the race car moves fast. Playful pedagogy can speed up the learning process. So that's one way to think about playful pedagogy is, yeah, it might think about the learning process. It might help you with that. So moving along then, let's look at how this second activity leads to the second benefit of playful pedagogy. And just a second, I'm again having difficulties. I don't know what we're doing here. Let's see if we can make this work. Sorry for the problem. Okay, let's get rid of that. All right. Okay. Now I have to move everything around so I can see things. So I apologize for the delay on things. All right. Excellent. So playful pedagogy brings us to our second benefit. Leverage is active learning and engagement. Now, I want you to think about your reaction when you knew that you needed to find something purple. If you're like me, I was the person who immediately left my computer and I ran to find the nearest purple thing that I could. And so in this online environment, you have the luxury of finding a tangible artifact or using Google or an AI tool to help you create your very own purple artifact. So for me, I did it both ways. I used it as my little purple monster. I created him using AI, and that was what I put in as my purple artifact. And I used an AI, I used the AI tool for that. And then I just used Google and said purple race car because I felt like I could make an analogy with a race car. So when you think about using play as a teaching strategy, students become more actively engaged in their own learning. Were you frantically trying to find things? I know that I was when I first did this activity. And even when I sent you off for 2 minutes, I was looking around the room trying to find something purple. There wasn't, and except my chair. My chair here is purple. And so the analogy might be that playful pedagogy gives me four legs to stand on when I walk into the classroom as a student. So, or will help me sit in the seat of student success. At any rate, you can see how you could possibly use that. And in fact, I am going to have you do just that. I want you to apply this to your own situation. How can you use the scavenger hunt and this analogy activity in your own teaching? So if you would post your responses in the chat, that would be great. Let's see what you come up with. How could you use it in your classroom? Okay, I know where it's afternoon. It's late afternoon, much later for you than it is for me. So I will just, oh, thank you. Teaching, here we have some great ideas. Erica talked about having students find something and relate it to research or writing. I like that, especially with databases and proposals. Carolyn is teaching psychology, the sensation chapter, sending students outside to find things that are related to the five senses. Oh, Carolyn, I think that sounds fantastic. I have used scavenger hunt in the library looking for resources. Isn't that awesome? That is so awesome. I have used the scavenger hunt when I've had my students go outside the classroom. This is my freshman, when they look for student resources like the health center, financial aid, the women's center, the writing center, all of those things that will help them. I've used scavenger hunts for that as well. Also, don't forget to bring in the analogy. Using analogies, and analogies and metaphors in my class, I don't care if it's an analogy or a metaphor. You use what is best for you. But analogies and metaphors foster creative thinking. And so when you can have them do some creative thinking, They might be able to simplify some complex concepts. And it's also much easier for them to connect to real life experiences. So if I say, taking out the garbage is like, I don't know what taking out the garbage is like, to be honest, but students can relate to that. And they can build connections because if I already have the synapses in my brain to understand what it means to take out the garbage, then maybe I can make a new connection and think about the content that my professor's talking about in a way that builds on that connection and enhances my memory. So I thank you for those of you who shared things. Oh, Brittany suggested that she has used scavenger hunt for test prep. Students found Easter eggs and then answered the question on the back of the egg. Beautiful. Christine uses them in the hospital to orient them to the areas on their clinical unit. And I love those ideas. In fact, I may steal a few of those from you, if that's okay. All right. Excellent. So let's move on, maybe. All right. I want you to think about if you can draw a perfect circle. And let me just see if I can copy and paste this link into the chat. And you go to neil.fun/perfect circle. And you will get to a page that looks like this, a screen that looks like this. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to draw a perfect circle. And I want you to go ahead and practice. Take a few practice tries. See if you can get a higher score each time. And then I want you to see about the highest score you can get. So take just a couple of minutes to give it a shot, give it a try, see how you do. I can't see it, but I'm sure that your scores will tell me how wonderful you were. Okay, so, 88.2. Carrie's sharing already. Can you beat that? Okay, we got 90.7%. That's awesome. Jody's got 87. Oh, Christine got 93.7. Good for her. Excellent. Erica got 87% perfect. Excellent. You are good circle drawers. All right. Oh, Anna, good for you. She got 80% with carpal tunnel. So props to Anna. Way to go on that. So thank you for, oh, Michaela, look at you. 94.7. Awesome. That's pretty impressive. All right. So moving along then. I'm sharing with you my scores, and these are the scores that I got through my first 5 tries. Now you can see I didn't start with a very good score. I started with 32.8%. But then as I moved on and tried more, I moved to 73, 84, 91. And the best score I was able to get was a 93.6. I guess I need to go back and see if I can challenge Michaela for that 94.7. So I want you to think about your experience now with this particular activity. And I want you to think about how you felt. If you're like me, I was I mean, I was happy to keep going because I wanted to do better. And I felt like I could, although some would argue that that was maybe not the case. But playful pedagogy, it alleviates the fear of failure and it also amplifies student efficacy because I felt like I could do it. I said, I know I can do this. It's just that I'm doing this little thing wrong or that little thing wrong. So when you think about playful pedagogy, we're thinking about it, it promotes a growth mindset. Trial and error is a big part of learning. And when you're trying to make that circle, you're doing trial and error the whole time. Playful pedagogy can also reduce pressure, creating a low stakes atmosphere so you feel more relaxed. Students feel more relaxed, they feel less pressure. And because of that, students may be willing to take more risks. It also allows for mistakes and learning. That's one time when it's really okay if you make a mistake. It helps normalize failure um, by making it a natural part of the learning cycle and the learning process. And I think that that's important for students to realize because I think that at least some of my students think that everything they do has to be perfect. They don't recognize all of the things that have to happen to get up to that perfect assignment or that perfect skill. And so they need to become more comfortable with making mistakes. And when they're able to do that, students build their own confidence. They become more certain about their academic abilities and in their abilities to succeed. And so, playful pedagogy is a great way to promote student success, of course. Now, as we did with the other activities we've done, think about how you can use this perfect circle exercise in your own teaching. Just to give you an example, I use it in my public speaking courses to demonstrate how if my students are able to focus and practice in deliberate ways, they're going to have better results on their speeches. Because a lot of my students think, "Oh, I'm ready to go. I've said it once, so I'll be fine in front of the classroom." Well, they aren't. They aren't wonderful. It's a good learning experience for them, but I really think if they practiced on their own and with their friends, with their family, with their dog, they would probably do much better in the classroom and feel more competent and confident as they stood in front of the classroom. They feel more confident about their ability to succeed. So, and the reason I do that is because, well, I've used it in other classes as well. Um, Erica shares, let me put on my glasses so I can read these. Erica says that she thinks it's a way to show that our first attempt isn't perfect and can be improved, especially in writing courses. That's an excellent thought, Erica. Thank you. Jody is a librarian, and it reminds her of the research process, circular but not perfect, with lots of stops and starts. What a great way to get students thinking about the whole process of research. And Carolyn says, I'm doing a presentation on failing forward. Oh, I love it. This is a great representation of not trying to be so perfect and failing in a fun way. Oh, I'm so glad that you're going to incorporate that. Thank you. That's great. I'm glad that you are taking away something that you can use. And Christine says that she could use it as a way to show that the more practice they complete their nursing skills in health assessment class, the more confident they will be to complete them with real patience. And boy, isn't that the truth? Because I don't want a nursing student who hasn't had an opportunity to practice things. That's not going to happen with me. I want somebody who has practiced a lot and who has learned through their failures. All right. Okay, I think, all right, we've talked about that. Did we go? Oh, yep, we're going the wrong way. I'm so sorry. All right, thank you for your patience. Now we are to our last activity together today, and we are going to look for petals around the roses. Now, for whatever reason, right before we started today, the polls on Zoom were not working. So I'm just going to have you put your scores up into the chat. So there won't be a poll. And I want you to look at the dice on the screen, and I want you to tell me how many petals are around the roses. Take just a few seconds to figure that out. Get your post-it. All right, please just share your ideas. Take a guess. Take a guess and post it in the chat. Okay, so Brittany says 15. Jody says 18. Do we have any more guesses? Let's see if we can get one more. All right, Erica has guessed as well, 39. All right. Okay, good. Kara guesses 17. Well, let's see how many there were. Oh, good. Michaela, you got, oh, good. 21, 35. Awesome. And the answer really is 6. Now, here we go again. I'll give you some feedback in a minute. I want you to look at these dice, and I want you to tell me how many petals are around the roses. And again, just put them in the chat, and I will call out the scores to see what you come up with. Okay, so we've got 5, 5, 14, 4. We've got a lot of different numbers here. Okay, I think that's everybody. 5, 5, 14, 4, 7. Okay. And in this particular case, there were 16. So I think somebody was really close. Erica had 14. So good job, Erica. You were close. Nice try. Now, let's try one more time. How many petals are around the roses? Listed in the chat. 12, says Kara. Oh, Brittany, I love it. I am so confused. 10? Jody says 0 and Christine says 0. Erica says 14 again. All right. So it looks like I think that most of you have posted your scores. Let's see what you come up with. It should be 16. Oh, wait, that was the last one. I am so sorry. Here we are, 6. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how in the world did you get that? So some of you were really close this time with, I think we had a 7. But if any of you guessed 6 in in the fathoms of your brain, you are the winner, chicken dinner. Very nice. But for those of you who didn't guess the correct number, let's talk about how you come up with that. Here's the secret. You are looking for roses on the dice. And a rose appears anytime you see a dot, little dots in the middle of a die. That's the center of your rose. So the dots around the center of that dot are the petals. So the only dice that are roses are the 3 and the 5 because they're the only dice that have the center dot in the middle. So the 3 has 2 petals and the 5 has 4 petals. So when you see a 3 and a 5, like we see in the screenshot that's up there right now, you know that, okay, 2 and 4 is equal to 6. So that's the total of 6 petals. So that's how you figure that out. And this activity demonstrates the capacity of playful pedagogy to yield critical and creative thinking. And as you were trying to problem solve to figure out what you considered was a rose or a petal, you had to do some creative critical thinking in order to solve the puzzle. And so when students are prompted to question assumptions or analyze situations, they may consider multiple perspectives. They actively explore ideas. Eventually, they gain the confidence that they need to be a lifelong learner. So, how can you use this particular activity in your own teaching? For me, I talk about it the very first day. I use it my very first day in class. It's one of our break the ice activities. And I use it to talk about belonging and inclusion in the classroom. So in this activity, some students see the pattern right away. They know, and others never see it. So whoever said that they were confused, I totally understand because the first time I did this activity, I had no idea what was a rose and what was a petal. I couldn't figure that out. So this is a good way to highlight how important it is to create a learning environment where everyone feels supported, where everyone feels like they belong. And so as a result of doing this exercise, I think students are more compassionate toward other students in the class who may not feel like they belong, who feel like imposters. And I think students start to feel welcomed, valued, and part of the learning community when they do that. So just think about how you could utilize that in your own teaching. And if you want to post some of those ideas, please feel free to share those ideas on the chat just so the rest of us can see what you have come up with. And perhaps if we have time, I'll come back to them. All right, so in summary, we've defined the benefits, or excuse me, we've learned about the benefits of play. So we know that play promotes a safe learning environment. We know that it leverages active learning and engagement. We also learned that it amplifies student efficacy because they believe in themselves and alleviates fear of failure. And it also yields critical and creative thinking. And what does that lead to? It leads to student success. And that's really what we're trying to make happen in our classrooms. So, in summary, let's review our session outcomes. At the beginning, we identified 4 benefits of playful pedagogy, and now you can integrate at least 1, possibly even 4 playful pedagogy strategies into your own teaching repertoire. And so we've got just a few minutes left. And so what I would like you to do is this, and I'm also going to provide this for you as another resource, perhaps. I'm posting a link in the chat, and this link is to a Google Doc where you can write your own playful pedagogy ideas. And so I want you to take just 5 minutes. We'll go on, yes, only 5 minutes to write something down that you can add to the list. And you can see that there's been a few things added. So maybe you'll even find a new playful strategy that you can use in your class tomorrow. So take 5 minutes. I'm going to give you 5 to write down some ideas in that particular Google Doc. You have about 3 minutes left. Two minutes. Very, very appropriate music. Thank you. One minute left. Thank you, Jody. Jody has to go to a meeting. So she said goodbye. 30 seconds. And come back together with us. And please feel free to go and access that document anytime you feel like you would like to do that. You're certainly welcome to add to it. One of these days, maybe I'll put it all together and send it out to the world, and you can all learn from each other because that's the best thing to do anyway, right? All right, so we are about done. So thank you so, so much for sharing your time today I know it's late, it's near the end of the week, but it has truly been my pleasure to share my passion for playful pedagogy. And I appreciate you for coming and attending, and best of all, participating. So, in closing, let me say, have a great evening. The weekend is close. Remember, playful pedagogy helps us learn the most. So let's transform the teaching and learning environment. Let's play. Have a great evening. Thank
I
you.
agree with you. You know, if someone teaching doesn't show enthusiasm for the subject, the students aren't going to be enthused about
That's true. I agree with that.
it. Hey, thank you so much, Colleen. This
Thank
was
you. It was a
great. It's a great way to
pleasure.
end the day, too.
Well, thank you. I truly enjoyed it. Thank you so much.